Sagittarius, December energies are upon us. And the message I keep getting from your guides is arms outstretched. Will you heed the call? Let's have an aligned astro chat about it. Shalom all, I'm Stacy the Black Feather Intuitive, and welcome to your Transformational Tarot Sagittarius for December. And what a really interesting message to get. So I can't wait to see how these energies are going to unfold for you guys. We are going to be pulling an overarching theme from the Sweet Ass Affirmations 2 deck from Rage Create. And the deck that was calling to me for you guys today is the She's Wilderness Tarot. So without further ado, let's get to it. All right. So very interesting message for you guys. Arms outstretched. Will you heed the call? The feeling that I got as I was kind of tapping into that energy was like, you're going to have a lot of people around you that could really benefit from your wisdom, your guidance, your love, your humor, your happiness, your joy. And will you heed the call? Are you going to engage and interact in those ways, or are you going to keep it to yourself? And zero judgment here on what that is. You know, depending on where you're at, you may not have the energy to engage in that. But I am feeling like it's time. Like the world needs your light. The world needs your light right now. So I'm kind of feeling a little bit of that. All right, let's see what your theme is. I am exploding with life beyond ever before, and glowing with eagerness for more. Yes, this is exactly what the message was coming through with. I feel like your light is shining brighter. Your energy is becoming more potent. And the invitation here is that there are going to be other people that are going to be drawn to it or needing it and needing you. Will you answer the call? I feel like the call will be pretty obvious in terms of who or what is being needed in your life. But I do feel that, of course, we always have free will, and it's our decision whether we choose to say yes to helping someone or to say, nope, not today, maybe tomorrow. So I definitely feel this is going to be an interesting reading. You know, the spiral here, circles of support and the spiral, like, you shining your light has that ripple effect, has that spiral effect with everyone that you meet. Don't discount that. Don't negate that. That's significant. And I feel like that's kind of the, will you heed the call? Will you answer the call? That's what that's about. Okay, so where are you at present in your transformational journey? What part of you is shifting, rising, or dissolving? Oh, I love it. The Fool card. Yeah, you really are in a space of some new beginnings, getting ready to start a new journey, or have just recently started to walk down that path. And I'm feeling like here, this is an indicator that you're looking at yourself in the Fool's journey and saying, well, I can't really help anybody else out because, like, I'm starting something new and I'm in need of help. Like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. But I want to say, you always know more than somebody else. There's always going to be someone else. This is something that I learned years ago when I was teaching voice lessons. I started teaching voice lessons at 16 years of age. And I was just barely taking voice lessons myself at 16 years of age. But, you know, when you're teaching an 8-year-old, and you're a 16-year-old who's had, 2 years of lessons or 3 years of lessons, there's always something that you can teach that 8-year-old that they don't already know about that skill set. Doesn't mean that you're an expert in your field, but to them, you are an expert because you have information that they don't have. You have skill that they don't have. You can pass it on. So I'm feeling like where you're at presently in your transformation, you're recognizing, okay, there's big new things, and I need to put my focus on those big new things for me because I'm not necessarily steady on my path. I'm excited about it. I've got vision. I'm happy to be, walking forward. But if you notice here, there's a snake in the grass, and she's walking barefoot. And she's looking at these butterflies, but she's not paying attention to what is in front of her. She might be stepping on the snake and end up getting bit and, running into troubles and all the things and the stuff, right? I feel like these are kind of like your fears, and maybe you're focused in this way, but there are going to be other people that you're going to be able to help, maybe take you along for the ride of the journey, even if it's just for little portions of it. But it's going to help to bring you a little more into focus so that you are paying attention to what is in front of you right now. You can really alchemize the things that you're learning when you're teaching it to others, because it is literally right in your focus. And you've got to think about, how do I do this thing that I do? How can I find the words, or what actions can I demonstrate to explain and show this other person, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing, or I don't know exactly, but I'm just intuitively feeling that this is the right path to take. We can do it together and sort of see what's happening. So I really feel like this is you rising. And I feel like the call is about, you're thinking that you're rising on your own, but you're actually rising and you're going to be taking people with you. Will you heed the call? Wow, that's a really interesting message. Not anything I expected at all. The catalyst, what's fueling or hindering your transformation? Is this resistance or rocket fuel? Interesting. Page of Wands. I think it was Scorpio got Page of Wands in their card too. I think it was in their first position though, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so I feel like this Page of Wands is the catalyst because in many ways, this is something you've been wanting to reconnect with. You know, you're already a fire sign. So Wands is your suit. That page energy, again, I was mentioning about students taking people along for the ride. The page is the student. The page is the eager beaver, the messenger, the young one that wants to be like the older kids, wants to be a part of, wants to learn. And I feel like for a lot of you, if this isn't a person, an actual person being represented in your life, this is going to be the kind of situation or experience that has all of that newness energy, like starting a new class, learning, from scratch how to rock climb, or build a rocket for that matter. Because of course we are talking about rocket fuel. That's why I keep getting hung up on the word rocket. Also, I'm seeing the game of life here. The checkerboard tile flooring always symbolizes the game of life. And I feel like you are stepping into a new aspect of the game of life. You're recognizing it as part of the game. You see it because it's got similar components from things that you've done before, but it's a completely new level. You've never been here before. And again, kind of like what I was saying with the Fool, what I feel is really going to help to bring your transformation into focus is the acknowledgement that you're going to be taking people with you and you're teaching as you go. And I feel like the Page of Wands, if this is not an actual person that is the catalyst, it's going to be an experience that is going to catalyze this. The catalyst is the call. The catalyst is when the student is ready, the teacher arrives. And you may be feeling like a student, but you're actually going to be a teacher to this situation. I really feel like, even though this is a general reading, I really feel like a lot of you are going to have an interesting interaction with a person that you are just feeling called to or compelled to connect with. And there's going to be a lot of learning and growth along the way, companionship, but also that teacher-student energy. And I feel like it's going to be excellent for both of you if you heed the call. I also want to say to you, you're going to be working on teaching this individual or this circumstance, putting guardrails in place so that there isn't burnout. And that's important for you because I feel like, yes, you're a fire sign. Fire's your element. You're happy in that space. You can get a lot of stuff done, but you too can be subjected to burnout as well. You can get out of control and suddenly the fire is unmanageable for you. This could be, anger, bursts of anger, fits of anger, or like workaholic, kind of stuff, getting completely out of balance and just burning yourself out, or saying things that you really don't mean to people, or saying things sort of thoughtlessly, and then you're keeping yourself distanced from people. I feel like there's a lesson in that. You're making some changes in that regard. You're tweaking the process, and that's why this is coming up and coming through. Deep root. What deep belief, wound, or soul contract is driving this transformation under the surface? So you've had a very interesting pregnant pause. And I feel like the pause, you've gotten some of what you needed to get from it, but there's that part of you that is still trying to kind of, move things forward, like move ahead. There's enthusiasm about the fool's journey, but there's also this energy of, okay, I've been in hanged one mode, and like, I don't want to be here anymore. And I want to say you've gotten 3/4 of the message. Maybe hanging out a little bit longer kind of fills in some of the blanks. But there's a part of you that is concerned that if you don't push the needle, if you move the needle, if you don't, continue to drive yourself to move through, or if you stop to help another person, you're going to lose sight of the vision. It's like the vision hasn't fully formed yet. And so it's kind of like that inspiration that you get in the dream state that, if you don't write it down, you're not going to remember it. You're going to lose it. And so you're trying desperately to get it out, and the phone's ringing and someone's talking, and you're like, just shut up. Like, I need to get this out, before it's gone, before I can't grasp it any longer, and it turns into smoke in my hands. I feel like there's some fear around this. This might be I'm looking at deep belief, wound, or soul contract. I feel like this is the belief, because I feel like maybe this has happened to you in the past, and you're recognizing, I don't want to, do that all over again. I want my cake and eat it too right now. I want to feel the happiness and the joy. And, I don't know if I want to bring another person along for the ride or into the mix. I don't know that I'm, necessarily ready for that yet. But I want to say, actually, soul contract. This could be a soul contract as well, because we are talking about that energy. I want to say to you, you do not have to have the same experience over and over and over again if you don't want it. That's a misnomer out there. It's a misconception that, when people run into the same, why do I keep dating the same person in a different body? Why does this keep happening? Well, it's a great question. Why does it keep happening? Because there's clearly something about that pattern that you haven't yet seen or cognized or integrated yet. So you keep bringing it to yourself subconsciously so that you can eventually see it and then break the pattern. So it's the same kind of thing. If you don't want the same experience over and over again, you just manifest a different experience. It doesn't have to be complicated. It could simply be, oh, okay, I've already been there and done that. I don't want that experience anymore. So what do I want? Okay, that's where I want to put my focus to. And I feel like that's what the Fool's Journey is all about. You're ready for something different. You're ready for something new. And it's going to happen. It's just, I feel like it's not going to happen in the way you're anticipating, because it's not a solo journey. Highest potential, highest phoenix potential. What can rise from the ashes? What is your soul calling you toward? This is your breakthrough energy. I love this. The Chariot. So it doesn't get much more breakthrough than that. I mean, the Chariot is going to, it's the melding of opposites. It's going to, take you from point A to point B. And I won't say it's going to take you in style, but it's going to take you quickly. There's nothing that's going to get in your way. It's going to get you there, and you're going to be bumpy, and your hair is going to be a mess, and you probably are going to be a little motion sick, by the time you reach the other side, and get to where you're going. But I mean, you're there, right? And you're there a lot more quickly, I would say, than you're anticipating. So I feel like the Chariot is coming through because it's letting you know that if you answer the call and you say yes to all of this, there's so much victory that is waiting for you on the other side. And for some of you, I do feel that like the shadow, like there's been maybe some deep shadow work that you've been dealing with, maybe some devil work, working on those addictions and those vices. That, I feel like the Chariot is coming through to say that's where the breakthrough is. The work that you've done, keep doing it, because you're going to have the breakthrough. Even though right now you might be feeling like you're not. Again, I point out that snake that you're not paying attention to. If you heed the call, you're going to be brought into your present moment. You're going to see the snake and you're going to be able to avoid the snake or incorporate the snake or move the snake, right? You're going to be aware of the snake. Let's put it that way. And then whatever you choose to do with it is on you, but you're going to have the choice. You're going to have the option. And the Chariot is going to support you in that in some really big ways. So you're blending the light and the dark within you. You're making progress, significant progress in that shadow work and releasing those vices or coming to terms with the darker aspects of you so that it can be integrated, and that you can, sort of move forward with that, move on into the next chapter. What's emerging just around the corner? What energy or experience is coming in to support the next phase? I love this. Vision, new vision, ties right in with what I'm seeing here. You're afraid that you're going to let the vision go, or that it's not going to be tangible, or you're not going to be able to hang on to it long enough to make it tangible. But I'm feeling very strongly that that's not the case at all. This is exactly what's going to happen for you. You're going to get there. I skipped something. I skipped I skipped a thing. Okay, I'm going to finish this right now and then I'll go back and do the one that I missed. So what's emerging just around the corner? It is the Star card. Abso-freaking-lutely, it's the Star card for you, because it is vision, it is healing, it is the connection to, I want to say, your core essence, to who you are as a person, to the legacy that you're wanting to leave behind. And, you were able to, this was your fear, your subconscious root. You were able to cognize it, right? If you say yes to all of this, it's going to come to light. And this is you expanding upon that. And I feel like when we say that this is what is emerging for you, and it's right around the corner, this is what you've been craving. But there's also a part of you that I feel has been maybe pushing it away, whether that's subconscious or otherwise. Now it's going to be in full force with you. You're not going to be able to avoid it. It's going to be right in front of you. You're absolutely going to be able to say no to it if you want to say no to it. And I feel that if you do say no to it, it'll come back around a couple of times before it moves on. But I'm going to say to you, why would you want to say no to it? Open yourself up, because this December, I feel, is really bringing you into yes, it's, you don't need to be psychic to know that December is a month where all of us are kind of in a reflection mode and, reflecting on what has transpired throughout the year, what is, what you're going to take forward into the next year, all that, good fun, love and stuff. All of that is true. I'm talking about you guys specifically, Sagittarius, that in December, you really are trying to make sense of this new beginning that's kind of come out of the blue and figure out how to really embrace it and embody it, even when you don't understand exactly why it's showing up or why you're feeling called to it or drawn to it. It's kind of like we're reverse engineering it. You're getting the feeling of this is how I want to feel all the time, but you don't have anything that it's really necessarily attached to. And so the universe now is, sort of building the blocks so that you then will understand what it is. And that's why all of this can be a bit confusing. And I don't feel like you're afraid of it or anything like that, but I do feel that it has felt a bit elusive and a little bit intangible, and it's going to continue to feel that. December is giving you the taste of that feeling, and the universe giving you little snippets here and there. I feel like you want to really kind of trust in the process of what this is in order to kind of understand why it's all sort of happening at the same time. Okay, I skipped a question here. This is what is dying away. What role, pattern, or identity has run its course for you? Interesting. Queen of Wands. So, you're getting your fire sign a lot, which I think is interesting. And I want to say what's dying away is a very rigid, limiting approach to your choices. I feel like there have been some experiences for you recently in the last few months where the rug was kind of pulled out from under you, and all of that happened in spite of the fact that you had all of your ducks in a row and did all the things right. So when we're talking about this Queen of Wands energy and what's dying away, it's this idea that even when I put all of the structure in place, like everything's supposed to just, be smooth and sunshine and daisies, wine and roses, but that's not actually what happened. And rather than getting burned out by it, notice I'm talking about burnout again. Whenever I'm feeling burned out by it, instead of going into that burnout mode, that's what's dying away. I no longer need to put my efforts and my energies into pushing, driving the bus, making things happen. I now need to be in a different focus and bringing people along with me. Being the teacher while I am also being the student is going to help me to be able to make sense of the vision and to allow the vision to come to fruition. And December is going to provide me with the tools to be able to do that. But I'm not necessarily going to understand in a clear, structured way what all those tools are for, because I don't even have the clear path and vision of what I'm even working towards. So there's a lot of trust involved in this. And, the Queen of Wands energy is very much a card of trust. The Queen of Wands is the only queen in the tarot deck that doesn't have the same level of support as the other queens. And so she doesn't have a safety net. So when she does something, she relies solely on herself, her intuition, her fire, her passion. She finds the resources that she needs. And I feel like, in essence, that is the path that you're taking right now, which I think is interesting. Okay, so now we are at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we are at your role in this shift. How are you navigating this transformation? Are you resisting, flowing, grieving, or boldly rising? Interesting. 8 of Swords. So I feel very much here like you are somehow trying to change the reflection that you're seeing, or you're going back to a past reflection and trying to somehow repurpose it to make it fit this new thing that you're going into. And I feel like part of it is kind of a coping mechanism because you don't have the full vision yet. You've got an inkling of the vision. You have a concept of a plan. Sorry, I'm not trying to make it political, but it's just my nasty sense of humor. So anyway, okay. And I feel like the 8 of Swords is coming through because you can't really take this aspect of yourself from the past and superimpose it onto the now, because what is coming up has never been before. And again, you're learning, and yeah, you're some people are on the ride with you, along for the ride. That's what I'm trying to spit out. But ultimately, it's not been done before, and it's certainly not been done by you before. So if you're taking past visions, experiences, past choices, and superimposing them onto this new thing, I feel like you're just going to get more of the old, like feeling bound, feeling trapped. I feel like with this coming up here, it's going to be really important for you to kind of like throw caution to the wind and say, the sky is the limit. Like, let me think outside the box. And in fact, let me just dissolve the box entirely. And what is beyond the box? Like, what is beyond, I often like to say shoot for the stars, because even if you hit the sky, it's pretty amazing. But like, if we think about it, we say the sky is the limit. Well, why do we say the sky is the limit? Because the sky is the highest thing that we can see. Well, we also know that you break through the atmosphere and there are stars, there's space, there's other planets, there are so many other things out there. So I feel like the message here is to think outside the box, or think outside the globe. I want to break the barrier of thinking about anything and imagining anything that has already been imagined before. Let me reinvent the wheel. And the Eight of Swords, I feel, keeps you trapped if you're referring back to past experiences, past situations, past interactions with people. This has to come, I want to say, from like pure source potential. It's got to come from the stars. I'm seeing galactic energy in the mirror here, right? So it's think outside of the atmosphere, break out of that energy. Eights are really important because it's mastery, and it connects us to the infinity, right? The as above, so below, the soul is never ending. We live on a do-over planet. So, that's why Groundhog Day happens, from time to time. This, I feel, can help you to boldly rise into this vision, but you have to kind of get out of your head about it. So this is a card of entrapment, and on the other side is liberation. And I feel like the entrapment is coming from you because you're going back to things that referencing things that but that's not, I want to say, going to help you at this time. It's really interesting too. So you've got a lot of 7s and 8s. So the Chariot is the 7, 17 is the 8, 8 of Swords. Queen of Wands has nothing to do with that. So not a lot. You've got a 7 and 2 8s, and I'm just seeing 17, 7, 8. So you are coming to the end of a creation cycle and using that to invoke the new creation cycle that's coming through, which is kind of interesting. Okay, circles of support. Yes, this one feels right. Sorry. Circles of support. Who or what is influencing your transformation right now? And is it from a positive or a negative perspective? King of Swords. Interesting. So Scorpio got this in the same position, if I'm not mistaken. That's kind of interesting. Feeling here like you really want to throw intellect out the window and instead really lean into the intuitive space. We're seeing here that she's wearing a crown that covers her eyes. And it's covering her eyes because it's not about what we see. It's about the third eye, what we are intuiting. And I feel like this King of Swords is coming through as, sort of circles of support. And usually this is like people in your life, but I feel like this is your guides saying to you where you're going to get the most support is by tuning out the world and tuning into us, self and source energy. Get the intuitive information. And from that intuitive information, then you can extrapolate out into the real world, right? Or out into the matrix, maybe we could say, however you want to look at that. Swords also is communication. And I'm feeling very much that you don't want to communicate anything until you have checked in with your inner guidance. And when you've checked in with your inner guidance, now you've got something to communicate. Because again, you've got people that are, coming along for the ride, but they're there honestly as the reflector for you in a lot of ways, so that you can recognize where you want to put your focus to. Not with what you're seeing with your own 2 eyes, but what you're feeling and intuiting with your third eye. I feel like that's what this is all about. Your support system for December is your intuition. That's what this is saying. I don't even need to go any further with that. That feels really obvious. Not obvious, sorry, really succinct. Not obvious, really succinct. Okay, hopes and fears. What are you dreaming of becoming? And what scares you about actually doing it? So being successful with the student, what you see in the student that you also are going to, maybe it's maybe going to be reflected in yourself. Also seeing aspects of yourself that it's almost like I feel like that you're on the precipice of seeing yourself in a light that you've not seen before, in a way that is very positive, very good, very like like I've done so much work and it's being reflected back to me in the ways that people are interacting with me. And I'm almost afraid of that, because what is my identity if I'm not all of those other things? Who am I becoming? So, this Lover's card I feel is really coming through because this is kind of what you want. You want that connection. You want the blending of your divine masculine and feminine together. You're wanting the blending of your shadow self and the light self involved. You want to be in love with self and source energy. You want to be a part of all of it, unencumbered, without limitation. And I feel like the fear is that that won't be possible. The fear is that you'll fail the student. The fear is that you won't have grasped the vision, and that you have stepped into more of a logical, rational approach rather than an intuitive approach, that you got caught up in the past. And I feel like, with Gemini, it's heavy on communication, right? Geminis are the communicators of the world. And I feel like it's important that you communicate with yourself, your wants and your needs, so that you are then also communicating that with others. Because when you communicate it to yourself and you stipulate it to yourself, you know that the universe is going to bring you people in your life that are going to help you to work on that, so that you can see, oh, this is how I make sure that doesn't happen, or, oh, I really don't do that anymore. I used to do that, but I'm not doing that anymore. So I can check that off of my worry list. I don't need to worry about it anymore. It's not a factor. I feel like this is coming through really to kind of help you over the hump. And I'm not saying you're afraid of a new journey, because I mean, you're a Sagittarius, adventure is your middle name. But I will say to you that there's a part of you that is kind of concerned about failure in that journey, because there are other people involved. And I want to say, no, the people are involved as part of the whole experience, and you can't fail. You literally can't fail. They're going to take from it what they need to take from it. You're going to take from it what you need to take from it. It's not a pass or fail kind of experience. It's the experience itself. And what are you learning? Interesting. Okay. Outcome. If you stay on course, who will you be on the other side of this journey in December? What is the result of embracing the full death and rebirth cycle? Wow. So December is the beginning of it all. December is are you choosing to answer the call? By the end of December, I feel like you are making that choice. And it's interesting that we've got another student energy card here, Page of Swords. So the student of communication, the student of intuition, the student of intellect, coming up and coming through, the student of words. When I look at this, I feel very much that you are answering the call, that you are saying yes. Even if you were a little reluctant to at first, I feel that you're saying yes. And this feels like others that are going to be connecting with you, others that are taking the journey. And you're also, not only are you, sort of a student, a teacher of the wand's energy on your Fool journey, you're also going to be teaching some of the Swords energy as well. And I'm going to say to you, it's a perfect pairing, because fire needs air, right? Fire needs oxygen in order to expand and grow and to survive, and all the things and the stuff. So I feel like this card is coming through to say, when you say yes to the call, you answer the call or heed the call, you're going to get the next resource. All right, we're adding some oxygen to the journey. And the places you'll go. Ooh, I just got chills. I feel like December is also really going to be about shedding your skin, coming back to that snake energy here, you are going to be shedding your skin. You're going to be shedding a lot of the heaviness, any kind of shame connected to this previous version of yourself, just even over the last few months, because you're now starting to recognize what it is that you have to offer again. You're light, you're exploding with life beyond ever before and glowing with eagerness for more. You've accepted this. You've accepted the challenge. You're seeing yourself for who you really are and what you have to offer. You're shining that light and you're getting the support to be able to make that happen. And I want to say that the Page of Swords at the end of December is going to be extremely powerful for you, because I still don't feel like you're going to have a complete idea of like the full scope of the vision, but you're definitely going to feel really confident about trusting your intuition in following that path. And January is going to open up a lot of that. February is where things are really going to take off. January, I feel, is still a little bit of the preparatory energy. We'll have to see with next month's Transformational Tarot reading, but this is where you're going to end up in December, and it feels really, really good. Wow, Sagittarius. So that is your reading for December, and it's going to be a good one. Trust in your spidey senses, trust in your intuition. It's not going to steer you wrong. It is year in preview season. If you want a sneak peek into what is coming up for you in the year of 2026, book your session with me now. It's a limited time series that I do. It's year 10 that I've been doing it. It's my most popular limited time series that I offer. We have an hour. It's you and me. I pull a card for each month of the year and lay out what is to come for you in 2026. It's a very powerful experience, and people who've been doing it with me for years have mentioned that they love using it kind of as a meditative or a journaling type tool throughout the year, because they get to review what happened in the previous year or previous month, what's coming up in this month. What do I need to know now? How do I want to, sort of alchemize that to make it work for me? And then I also offer a service, if you want to go a little deeper, called Your Year in Transformation. And that is, what's my sole purpose for this year? And how am I transforming, and how can I make those transformations work for me? There's channeling, there's tarot readings in there, meditations. I mean, it's the whole works, the whole ball of wax. So feel free to click on the link below to book either of those sessions. And otherwise, sending you guys so much love and support. Happy holidays, however that applies. And I look forward to ringing in the new year with you guys and doing this wild ride called life together again. Until we see each other, sending lots of love and support. We'll see you on the flip side, and transform well.